Hey guys, Josh here with a quick video. Today I want to kind of talk about my strategy as it's been developing for the past couple of weeks. Some of you know that I've been trying to develop a strategy around morning spikes, and over time, since I've been collecting data on every single morning spike for the past couple of days, I've realized that it's better to short morning spikes than to buy morning spikes, and it's a lot more consistent to do so. So what I did was I decided to take a short position on these morning spikes, and I decided to collect as much data as possible that would help me have better odds at succeeding. And one thing I've realized is that a lot of these morning spikes, when they have their first pullback, their first severe pullback, they usually trickle off to the 40 to 60% area relative to the high of the spike. So if a stock spikes from $1 to $2, statistically speaking, based off historical data, it'll usually pull back to $1.60 all the way down to $1.40 in that price range area. So knowing that information, I can kind of structure my entrance and exits and my risk level off of that data that I've collected, and use that data to kind of give myself better odds when it comes to these trades. So what I'm looking at right now is a typical morning spike of CAPR. And what I did was, right now I'm in the process of trying to mentally prepare myself to hold through these long dips and these long bounces and stuff like that, because these morning spikes don't happen in minutes. A lot of these morning spikes happen over the course of an hour or 2-3 hours. So a majority of the time I'm going to be sitting here watching as this stock develops. And one thing I've noticed is that the stock doesn't go straight down. Usually it'll trickle off, right? So when this morning spike occurs, you'll have these bounces and these dips and this consolidation area as it starts to set lower lows and as it starts to fall off. So I'm sitting there trying to just mentally prepare myself for this kind of stuff, and I just want to kind of get a feel for how the stock reacts as it develops, and how the stock charters itself as the day goes on. So right now I've mentally gotten in at $1.50. That's realistically speaking, if I was trading with my full $6,000 position size, which is usually what I trade with, if I trade with a full $6,000 position size, that's usually probably where I'd get in at. Realistically speaking, if I was actually taking a position on the stock based off of what I know, based off of what I'm playing, that's where I'd get in at. And right now I'm just kind of just watching it, saying, okay, well, I'm risking off of $1.60. I got in at $1.50-ish. And if it breaks that $1.60 mark, I get out, I cut my losses, and I'm hoping that it drops to about $1.30 so I can take profits. And I know it's going to be a long process. So what am I doing now? Right? Why am I doing this? I'm doing this so that I can get used to the time frame, right? A lot of traders, they get scared out with these big bounces and stuff, right? So you see it starting to perk up a little bit. You see some green candles coming in there. A lot of traders would get scared. They'd get afraid. Oh my God, this thing's perking up on me. It's not going the way I want it to. Maybe I got in too early. Maybe I didn't get in at the right spot. Maybe my strategy isn't working. But if you have that spreadsheet, if you look at that historical data from the spreadsheet, you'll say, okay, well, I trust this pattern. I've seen it work dozens of times. I know exactly how this pattern works. I know it usually takes time to trickle off. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to risk off of my original risk level, which is $1.60. So unless this thing breaks past my $1.60 mark, I'm going to hold true, and I'm going to stay in this trade with the hopes that it's going to keep following that pattern that I've seen numerous times before, and I'm going to be able to take it for a profit. So that's what I'm doing right now. Again, I'm not using any real money. I'm just using mental entrances and exits, because I want to be able to have the most effective data and the most, I want to be able to feel these stocks before I go into them, and I want to have as much experience as possible, because every time you learn a new strategy, there's a learning curve involved, and those learning curves usually result in losses. So I want to try to avoid that situation as much as possible, and whenever I do start taking these trades into my live portfolio, I want to be as prepared as possible. So that's basically what I'm doing. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. If you want to check out my spreadsheet, if you want me to make a video on how I detail my spreadsheet, feel free to ask, and I'd love to make a video on that. But without further ado, I'll see you on the next one. And look at that, starting to perk down a little bit. See? So over time, these charts develop over time, and it's really just about staying true to your risk level, man. But I've been talking too much, so we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.